Buddy Nerdigans, this is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's Book Nerdigan discussion video is going to be for Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor by Riordan, which is the second book of the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series. If you have not read the Percy Jackson series, the Heroes of Olympus series, or the Magnus Chase series, you are not going to understand this book at all because it references a good chunk of those series, and obviously book one of the Magnus Chase series. Anyway, let's get to the actual discussion. So this book, we got a new character, and I have to talk about Alex, who is the gender fluid child of Loki. And I remember Riordan saying a while back that he wanted to add more diversity, and he was saying how he wanted more diversity in books. Boy, he did it in the first book where we had a female Muslim main character, and he did it again with a gender fluid character. Yes, we have a gender fluid, and not Sam. Alex is like the true definition of a gender fluid character, and something that's cool is that, the thing with Sam is that, or not Sam, the thing with I'm getting Alex and Sam mixed up for some reason. The thing with Alex is Alex's gender changes at will, which I think is really cool. And Alex, I want to say this about Alex in particular, is that Alex reminds me of Nico D'Angelo from Percy Jackson in the Heroes of Olympus series, who is the son of Hades. First of all, they're kids of gods that are usually hated, for one thing, and that are usually villains. In the case of Loki, Loki is a villain, so there's that. The other thing is that Nico is gay and Alex is gender fluid. But here's the thing that's different between Nico and Alex. Nico is uncomfortable in his skin and he's in the closet, whereas Alex is out, proud. Nothing's gonna ever bring Alex down, and Alex is more confident in his/herself than Nico ever was. And Nico got pretty confident near the end of the Heroes of Olympus series, and Nico, and something that Alex said in particular really stood out, because Sam has to face this herself, is that Alex said that because Alex can overcome Loki's control, because remember, Loki was able to take over Sam and will Sam to die. And, Sam also said that she's scared of her shape-shifting powers because she doesn't want to, connect with Loki, and she's worried that Loki's going to get even more control of her power. But something that that Alex said was that the only way to overcome Loki's control is to embrace your powers, and to embrace your identity of being a child of Loki, which Sam needs to do. Alex already accepted it. And I love Alex. Alex is my favorite in Cheery now. I love Alex so goddamn much. Alex is a kick-ass character, and Sam needs to accept it. I'm gonna just let's see. First of all, these characters fell into Loki's trap so goddamn easily. They did, but the journey to it was really interesting, and the characters themselves, remember last book we had to face Blitzen's trial. This book, we had to face Hearthstone's trial. And I felt so bad for Hearth, and I'm going to get to it in a second. But I want to mention something that Annabeth said here, because it's given me, it raised hype for me, because I got a feeling Rick is going to do this for after, Trials of Apollo, and after he's done with this series. I got a feeling he's going to do this. According to Annabeth, our family, the Chases, had some sort of special appeal to the ancient gods. Maybe it was our winning personalities. Maybe it was our brand of shampoo. And I love that. That's something else I like. I love that Annabeth and Magnus are connecting. I love that I love it. I love it so much. The Greek goddess Athena, Annabeth's mom, the Greek goddess Athena, had fallen in love with her dad, Frederick. My dad, Frey, had fallen in love with my mother, Natalie. This is the key thing right here. If somebody came up to me tomorrow and told me, surprise, the Aztec gods were alive and well in Houston, and my second cousin was the granddaughter of Quetzalcoatl, I would totally believe them, and I would run screaming off a cliff into Guinagat. Please, I'm begging you, Rick, make this happen. I don't care if it's a granddaughter or something. I want Aztec gods. I must have them. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to be talking about a lot about Alex and Sam, because that's where a lot of the center of the characters was obviously. But what Loki did to basically how Loki outed Sam and Alex. Oh, so fucked up. First of all, how Loki outed Sam was fucked up. So what he did for doing that was he basically gave a wedding invitation to Sam's grandparents, saying that Sam is going to get married to the king of the Earth Giants. I was just like, oh man, that was just wrong. I still think it's fucked up that she's marrying her cousin. That was just weird. And then for Alex, what happened was, I thought that was really fucked up. So her situation was just fucked up. So what happened was, Alex, her dad she was already married. So basically, he had an affair, and Loki was a woman at the time, and Loki came back with the baby in female form and said, "This is your kid." And not only did dad hate her, the stepmom hated her too. Or her/him. I'm just like, this is just fucked up. Loki like completely outed him. I was like, dude, Loki, that is some fucked up shit. And, okay, I gotta talk about Geller. I gotta talk about him. And also, Loki, you were full of shit when you said you didn't want to start Ragnarok. He's full of shit. You were full of shit, Loki. But I gotta talk about Geller because it kind of relates to Vinland Saga. Is that, where is it? So Geller is the son of Thorkel. And for those that read Vinland Saga, you know who Thorkel is. He's a bass mofo. And, he's a prince among the Danes. And then we got Skonfug, the most famous blade ever wielded by a Viking. And first he belonged to King Hrolf, Hrolf, and was forged with souls of his 12 followers, all berserkers. And we're not, I don't know if we're referring to like Fate series berserkers or not, but I don't know. So what happened was, and I think this is just fucking nuts. It shows you how fucking nuts the Vikings were. The 12 berserkers basically sacrificed their lives so their souls could instill the blade with power. At any rate, a man named Eid stole the sword from Rolf's grave. Eid lent it to Thorkel, who sort of forgot to return it. And then Thorkel died in a shipwreck, but the sword washed ashore in Iceland. And then Geller found it and used it in many glorious massacres, and there we go. And he can summon the zombies, which is pretty damn sweet. Hold on a second. There is something else from here. Oh, when he summoned the zombies and they called Council a democracy. It was like a democracy thing going on here. It was Parliament. It was pretty funny. And they were, via telepathy, they knew what was going on up there. I thought that was really funny as well. And when they said that, they were mentioning any old business, and like, I think it was Geller who said it, he's like, everything is old business. I started cracking up. Where they were, it was a site where ancient Norse met to settle legal disputes and make political decisions. The meetings inspired the idea of Parliament. Well, by that time, their tomb had been there for centuries. The pilgrims landed, camped out over them for a few weeks. They must have subconsciously felt their presence. And then Giller's like, I'm afraid we inspired the Mayflower Compact, started all that business about rights and democracy in America, blah, blah, blah. And then when Loki showed up, he is just, fucking Loki is a dick. I don't feel bad for him anymore. I did last book because of how he got chained, but he's a dick. I'm sorry, Loki, you kind of deserved it. You're an asshole. So here's the deal with the Skofung sword. It can't be used in the presence of women, so chivalry is not dead. It can't be drawn in daylight, and it can only be used by one of noble lineage, and that's why he's using Uncle Randall. And also, once the blade is drawn, it cannot be sheathed again. So the wounds, and also the wounds from the sword can never heal, so they just keep bleeding forever or until death, whichever comes first. And the only way to close the wound, of course, that Loki gave Blitz, which of course Hearth saw. I love Hearth. I love him. I just love Hearth. But yeah, that's the only way is with the Skofung Stone. And that's why the two are such an important set. Also, the Skofung Stone is used to sharpen the sword itself. And like, then we go to Alpheum. And Hearth's dad is such an ass! Oh my god! And we find out, first of all, that Hearth's mother died. And, like, part of me Hearth's dad said that that because of Hearth walking out, that his mother died. This is how she died. Like, part of me thinks that Hearth walking out, I kind of have to agree, and like maybe, but I got a feeling that based on how Hearth ran the household, I feel like his mother never got a say. And I really wish we knew a little bit more about Hearth's mom. But this is what happened. Well, one afternoon, this is what, so Hearth's mother was crossing the street in the village on her way back from the country club, and she had endured awful comments from her friends at lunch. She feared her reputation was ruined, and she wasn't looking where she was going when a delivery truck ran the red light. And then Mr. Alderman said, after a smile died, "My point is that a son of Frey would make a worthy friend for our family. All I ask is," and this is all he asked, "was that you stay with us for a while, perhaps attend a small reception, and just a few hundred close associates. Show yourself, take a few photos with me for the press, that sort of thing." And like, I feel like Alpheum is like supposed to be the vain part of humanity, the vanity portion of humanity, and the yuppies and shit. And I was just amazed at it. It really, and I wonder if that's what Rick was going for. It shows like the dark side of humanity. That's what, because remember, a lot of the magical creatures in Norse are influenced by humanity in Midgard. So I'm very curious what you guys think. Oh my god. So then we gotta talk about how fucked up the situation was when Hearth was living there. So this is where the rules. So that you saw in Hearth's room. Your own laundry twice a week equals +2 gold. Sweep the floors both levels equals +2 gold. Worthy tasks equals +5 gold. Others were in red. Each meal equals -3 gold. 1 hour of free time equals -3 gold. Embarrassing failures equals -10 gold. I counted maybe a dozen lists like this, along with hundreds of motivational statements like never forget your responsibility. Strive to be worthy. Normalcy is the key. Inge stood quietly in the doorway, her face lowered. It's because we saw this hide there as a carpet. It's the hide of the beast. She said, also signing the words, the one that killed his brother. So basically, the gold coins were thrown on the beast. And it's basically the blood debt for his brother's death. And what Hearth had to do was earn gold coins until not a single hair could be seen, and then he is paid. And it's like, Hearth! I was like crying when I read this. I was like, Hearth, this is awful. And then it gets sadder. Andrion, loved the well. He thought it granted wishes, but there was a bad spirit. He made it... I thought this part was kind of funny, but it's still sad. He made a strange combination of signs. 3 fingers at the mouth, a W for a water, and then pointing down the symbol of a well, then a V over one eye. The sign for taking a pee. We used that a lot on the streets too. Together it looked like he was naming this bad spirit peas in the well. That is the spirit's name. In own language, it's called Brunmigi. It came out of the well and it attacked Andiron in the form of a large bluish creature, a mixture of bear and wolf. It's always wolves. Jesus, man, it is always wolves. Always with the blue wolves. I hate them. I love this writing. It's just great. It killed Andiron. I summed up in the fluorescent light. Hearthstone's face looked as petrified as Blitzen, because what they had to do to stop the bleeding so Blitzen wouldn't die is, petrify him. I just thought it was funny when how they jumped the plane and before they did that, because Magnus was worried about Blitz, Arthur's like, don't worry, he's bubble wrapped. I thought that was funny. I was playing with some stones, he signed. My back was turned. I didn't hear. I couldn't. Mr. Alderman killed the Brunmigi, but he made Hearthstone skin the creature all by himself. This is some fucked up shit. Hearthstone wasn't allowed back inside until the job was done. Once the hide was cured and made into a rug, they put it in here. Oh, and then we had to go to the dwarf, because otherwise it would have taken forever. We didn't have time. So Inge mentioned there's this dwarf. There's only one dwarf in Alpheum, and is Anvari, basically the careful one, and he basically hoards. He has a hoard of gold large enough to cover the rug. And Inge is cool. And I gotta say, Hearth is ignorant. He's a goddamn pimp too. Because Inge is in love with Hearth, and Magnus can even tell that Inge wants Hearth so bad. She wants him bad, and I hope, because it's mentioned in the book. I think Blitz mentions near the end of the book that Hearth is gonna have to go back to Alpheum for closure. I'm telling you, Hearth is gonna hook up with Inge, and I will be so happy. Oh my god, what? I felt so bad for the fish. So, Hearth had to use, this Thor ruin, and how Magnus described it was he basically nuked all the fish in the second waterfall. And because, Thorizaz, I'm probably butchering it, but I don't care, is the rune of destructive force, like Thor blowing stuff up. Also, when you invoke it, you can get a little Thor-like. And I love what Magnus said after that. He's just I swear to God, if there are thunder farts, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill fucking... It's like if there's thunder farts, that is where I draw the line. Oh my god, and then we get to the magic ring. And of course, the magic ring is in this motherfucker's pants. But first, Jack, I have to question Jack's sexuality. I think Jack is metrosexual. Jack is a metrosexual sword because he can give pedicures like a mofo, man. He knows how to give pedicures. And then we learned about the ring. So every time Anavari loses the ring, it bounces around the 9 worlds for a while. Some schmuck gets a hold of it. They win the lottery and make millions, but they always end up broke, divorced, sick, unhappy, and are dead. Is that what anyone would want in all reality? So basically, you get -10 gold for bringing back bringing home a cursed ring, plus 10 gajillion gold for stealing a gajillion gold. That's my fucking heart sign, and I start cracking up. The ring is cursed, but also key to treasure. Without the ring, the treasure will never be enough. Will always come short. Fafnir was a dwarf. And Vari's ring drove him crazy. He murdered his father, took his gold, guarded the treasure in a cave. Eventually, he turned into a dragon. Oh man, I gotta talk about like what happened afterwards. So after they get back to the castle and gave the ring, like we started seeing, well, first of all, we got the stone and we unpetrified Blitz and shit, but oh my god, the ring, like he in freaking Hearth warned Mr. Alderman. He warned Dad. He's like, look, this thing is gonna make you lose your mind. It's good. Boy, did it bring out his dark nature. Oh my god, Mr. Alderman. Har's dad is an asshole. He was like trapping his guests. He was using like water nymphs that he had in there. God, he is an asshole. Like, I swear, it was like the Confederate South down up in there. Oh my god, it was just awful. Okay, and then we get to Heimdall. Heimdall is definitely today's millennials. Because, like, he is just, like, hooked on that goddamn tablet. I swear, the gods are like today's millennials. They are hooked on their tablets and shit. And he's addicted to selfies. But Heimdall says here is just funny. My eyesight is really good. I can see into all the 9 worlds, and my hearing my hearing. I was listening to you guys argue on that rooftop from all the way up here. That's why That's why I decided to throw you a rainbow. I can hear corn growing 500 miles away. I can hear frost giants belching in their castles and join. I'm just like, God, Heimdall. But like before that, something, and Alex mentioned it too later on, is that something, and it involves being a son of Frey. He was able to heal Amir's mind, so he didn't lose his mind like a typical mortal would, because he's adjusting to all this. And then we learned about his phablet, and this is what he said. I think it's a phablet. I think technically it's a phablet, but yes, this is Gageller, the horn and her phablet of doomsday. I blow this baby once, and the god knows there's trouble in Asgard, and they come running. I blow it twice, then it's Ragnarok, baby! And he seemed delighted by the idea that he could signal the start of the final battle that destroyed the 9 worlds. Most of the time, I just use it for texting and whatnot, and this is so true! Like, with most people in smartphones. I'm just curious if Rick Riordan was just, like, using that, doing that on purpose. I think that's I think that's what it is. And once oh my god, I laughed my ass off when Heimdall said this. Once I butt dialed the apocalypse, so embarrassing. I had to text everybody on my contact list, like, false alarm. A lot of gods came running anyway. I made this gif of them charging up the Bifrost, and then realizing there was no battle. I want that gif! Can I get that, please? And he has a selfie stick on top of this. I mean, a selfie sword. He has a selfie stick. But here's more detail about Alex, what I mean with the gender fluidness. So basically, this is what Alex says. I can look like whatever or whoever I want, but my actual gender, no, I can't change it at will. It's truly fluid. So literally, as I said at the beginning of the video, Alex cannot control his/her gender. It just happens. In the sense that I don't control it, most of the time I identify as female, but sometimes I have very male days. And please don't ask me how I know which I am on which day. Look, some people prefer they. They're non-binary or mid-spectrum or whatever. If they want you to use they, then that's what you should do. But for me personally, I don't want to use the same pronouns all the time because that's not me. I change a lot. That's sort of the point. When I'm she, I'm she. When I'm he, I'm he. I'm not they. And like, I'm very curious, and I put this in my notes, and I want to know what you guys think, if it has to do with Loki, if it has to do only, like, if Loki is your mother, if that just happens, if you're gender fluid, if Loki is your mother, versus if Loki is your father. Because Sam obviously is not gender fluid like Alex is. But if Loki is your mother and you're a child of Loki, like, I'm just very curious if if it's more likely that you're going to be gender fluid. I'm just very curious, and I want to know what you guys think about that. Oh, and on top of what outing Alex to her parents. What he did was he forced Alex's parents to be able to see see the nine worlds, basically. It was fucked up. And Alex's mortal parents are just as bad, saying that, you know, Loki corrupted Alex. But the thing is, it's like the complete opposite. Alex resents Loki in a way, but at the same time, Alex embraces her power. So more power to Alex. Oh, so then we get to the giant stuff. Okay, so this was so we had to go see Utgard Loki, and in order to get over there, we had to deal with we had to carry this bowling bag for Tiny, who was this giant, and Blitz, who I swear to God needs to be on Project Runway. What he did was he used Magnus's hair, and he cut his hair. He cut Magnus's hair. He uses that, and he used Alex's blood, and he was able to, you know, manipulate it and put the password on there and say its password, and, you know, able to change the bowling balls back. I thought that was awesome. So then they had to go challenge the giants at Utgard Loki Lanes in order to, you know, get Utgard Loki's help. So basically they had 3 challenges. So you had it was 4 challenges. So you had Sam going up against Fear with the axes, which was badass as fuck. You have Blitz giving the giant a makeover and having the lady giants like attracted to him. This giant was a pimp for a minute, and the other male giants were like envious of him. And then the giant just went back to sleep. I thought that shit was funny. And then you had Hearth did an arcade challenge. The giant did skee ball, and then Hearth is like, I'm just gonna go play pinball because he's a pinball wizard. And the giant's like, hey, you said video game. He's like, I didn't say I had to play the same game. I was like, yeah, that was awesome. He's a pinball wizard. And I have to ask this because they did bowling, and of course the bowling was going into there was the sabotage shit because that's just how shit works. But how is an African bush elephant a cat? I was asking myself this. How? And apparently, when they were crossing dimensions, the bowling balls were. Apparently, Alex's ball almost reached the Taco Bell on I-93 south of Manchester, which I was cracking up at. So, I mentioned what Loki's goal was. So then we learned about, the deal with what it's called is the Munder. Is the bride price goes to the father of the bride. So the hammer. So Thor's hammer would be the Morgan Gifu, which is the gift to the bride from the groom. Only given after the wedding is complete, or the morning after. Oh God, having sex with that giant. Oh, it didn't happen, but the morning gift goes to the bride, but it's held in trust by the groom's family. Therefore, even if you go through with the marriage and get Thor's hammer back, it just stays with Therm. The giants get a marriage alliance and the hammer. And Thor's wife, oh man, when we went to Thor's place, Thor's wife is bomb. I like Thor's wife. She's cool. She made a killer dress for Alex. First, her and Alex were not clicking very much, but then, yeah. Her dress and Sam's dress were great. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking for Magnus, but whatever. But, I started cracking the fuck up when, their home is called Bright Crack, or, Bilskeder. I started cracking the fuck up, and the best part is if you say Bright Crack or Bilskeder, you hear like a chorus going, oh, and I just started cracking my ass up. I was like, oh my God, I love the Norse. And Alex's response is the best. Bright Crack. Alex didn't even wait for the angels to finish before plumber's crack. And then we learn a little bit more about Sif. The Rowan is indeed my sacred tree. I can pass from one to another across the 9 worlds, which is how I brought you to my palace. Because remember, they were getting chased away from by the giants. The Rowan is the source of so many blessings. And then Sylph said, and this is why Sylph is helping them in the first place. Well, since my original hair was replaced with solid gold magical hair after that horrible trick Loki played on me, one benefit is that I can weave my extra hair into any number of solid gold items. I am responsible for paying the house staff, including heroes such as yourselves, with tokens like this. Thor is sweet. He appreciates my abilities so much he calls me his trophy wife. Oh my god, I gotta talk about the man cave. The man cave was fucking awesome. It was a total man cave. What you expect. I love Thor. He was wearing his pigtails and his braided pigtails, and he was also wearing a Metallica shirt, which just made it all so much better. And I love what Jack said in particular. Oh, but no! Before I get that, I wanted to get to what Thor was talking about. So, like, Thor's like, I know where you're going with this plan. And when he said, wear a wedding dress, pretend to be the giant's bride Freya who refused to marry Thor. Selfish woman, I was disgraced, humiliated. What are you smirking about? And I was like thinking, thank you, Rick, for putting this in there, because I was so curious about this story last book. So I'm glad Rick included this. Hovering behind my shoulder, Jack whispered, he looked amazing. And I was thinking, I'm telling you, I'm thinking to myself, Jack has got to be the most Metro sword I've ever seen. And Thor grunted, it was all Loki's idea, of course. It worked. I infiltrated the wedding, got my hammer back, and killed the giants. Well, except for, and I love what, Alex said, because, like, Alex and, oh, before I forget what happened and why Alex decided to go as the bride instead of Sam, was Sam declared her love for Amir, and she said that I'm not marrying anybody but Amir. So for those that were shipping Magnus and Sam, sorry, it ain't happening. But I am shipping Malix. Malik is real. Malik is fucking real in 2 series. It's real in the Mortal Instruments, and it's real in the Magnus Chase series. I am shipping them like FedEx. I do not mind that. But yes, but this is what Alex says. I'm a child of Loki. That's what Thurn is expecting. Like my parent, I'm gender fluid, and when I'm female, I am female. I could definitely pull off a lace applique wedding gown better than you. I start cracking up. So then we're off to the giant stuff. We're going there. And I love what I think it's so interesting about the road itself. So the road itself, basically, it goes all the way to Helheim, and most subterranean passages do eventually. And giants and goats are best suited for such a road. And something that's cool with the goats is that Thor can see through his goat's eyes, which is pretty sweet. You small ones would lose your footing and slide all the way down to the walls of corpses. We can have that. But the wedding, first of all, the bar that we go to looks like Cheers, which I thought was funny. And before they even went to get married, they were eating nachos and burgers, which I thought was just random as hell. So the wedding instead is going to be at the Cavern of Loki. And I love how Magnus is trying to communicate through Otis. And Otis is just like, you have such wonderful eyes, Magnus. That was funny. So now let's get to this description of Loki, because I've read Norse mythology-based fiction before, and I thought this description of how where Loki was really interesting. So unlike the manifestations I've seen of him before, the real Loki was neither handsome nor dashing. He wore nothing but a ragged loincloth. His body was emaciated, filthy and covered with scars. His long stringy hair might once have been reddish brown, but it was now burned and bleached from centuries of being in this toxic cave. And from what I remember, he was in hell in most of the series I've read, so this is definitely different. And his face, what was left of it, was a half melted mask of scar tissue. Coiled around the stalactite of at Loki's head, a massive serpent stared down at the prisoner, its fangs dripping yellow venom. At Loki's side knelt a woman in a white hooded robe. She was holding a metal bowl over Loki's face to catch the poison. Catch the poison. The snake was a real producer, though. The venom dripped from its mouth like a partially turned on shower head, which is pretty consistent. The woman's bowl was much too small. As we watched, venom filled it to the brim, and the woman turned to empty it, tossing the contents into one of the boiling pools behind her. She moved quickly, but poison still splattered Loki's face. He writhed and screamed. The cavern shook. I thought the ceiling would collapse on top of us, but somehow it held. Maybe the gods had fashioned this chamber to endure the shaking, just as they fashioned Loki's bonds never to break, the snake never to run dry, and the woman's cup never to be big enough. And the woman, of course, is Sinjin. And I feel so bad for her. Sinjin, and what Loki says is Sinjin hasn't spoken in 1,000 years, ever since the Aesir, in their infinite wisdom, butchered their sons and abandoned them there, basically, to suffer for eternity. And I gotta say, Sinjin, I think she did, I don't know what was going through her mind, but her timing was just awesome. Because, she just, he was about to, move the after he saw Alex, who matched Sam's face perfectly, shapeshift. He was about to look at Sam's veil, the real Sam's veil, and Sinjin poured acid on him. I was like, yes, Sinjin! Sinjin is awesome. So then we got to see what happened in the presence of women with Skofung, which was awesome. So with Skofung's sword being drawn, and this is in the presence of women, it let loose an unearthly howl, an outraged chorus of 12 berserker spirits unleashed against their will and in violation of their ancient taboo. And I think that's probably the same case if the other taboos of the sword are broken. The sound was so loud it gave me double vision. Several giants stumbled. Unfortunately, Jack had also been affected. He turned heavy and inanimate in my hands just as one of the giants backhanded me, sending me flying across the cavern. And then finally, first we had the cavalry show up, because what happened was Thor said Blitz and Hearth back to Valhalla to get these Injiri to come over with, and he gave them a hall pass to boot. And while Thor got the rest of get some of the gods together to come in and help. But first we got the Injiri come back, but the gods didn't come soon enough, of course, because they never do. And Loki broke out, and this is bad. And the gods showed up after the fact, but the gods did kill all the giants, so there is that. And oh my gosh. Poor Vidar. Vidar's trying signing, sign languaging, and he's trying to tell Thor, we need to go get, this after Val. I'm gonna get back to Vidar in a minute. Vidar's just let's go get Loki. Don't we need to go do that? And Thor's he's let's go celebrate. You're right, Vidar, let's go celebrate. I was like, oh my god, Thor, this motherfucker's stupid. But I love that they came in, the gods, I love that they came in wearing SWAT uniforms. That shit was awesome. But they were, it's pronounced GRM, Grrm, and this is what Thor said, an acronym for God Rapid Response Mobilization. And, Magnus was being inspired. He's like, this wasn't fast enough. It wasn't rapid enough. And Thor's like, well, it was hard. You guys changed didn't help that they changed locations to Loki's cave. And I was thinking to myself when I was reading this, I'm then how did Blitz get there faster than you? That didn't make any sense. Your logic is flawed, Thor. So this is, now let's get to Vidar. So Vidar is basically the god of vengeance, or kind of the Norse equivalent of Nemesis. But Vidar, Vidar's way more chill than Nemesis. I can tell you that much. So Nemesis needs to sit down with Vidar. Vidar is also called the Silent One, which means he doesn't talk. He also doesn't take selfies constantly, which makes him good company. And then afterwards, and this is near the end, after everyone's partying, Helgi said this, Loki has escaped, but we know where he is, and this is the message from Odin's ravens, basically. Samira Al-Abbas, your next mission as Odin's Valkyrie in charge of special operations will be to find your father and put him back in chains. And the Eastern Shores, just as the old stories say, now that Loki is free, he has gone to the docks where he hopes to complete construction of Nalgthar, basically the ship of nails that we saw in the last book. The unbinding of Loki does help start Ragnarok, but nothing says this escape is his last and final escape. It's conceivable you could recapture him and put him back, thus postponing Doomsday. Yes, all 5 of you were present when Loki was captured, or when Loki escaped. Therefore, all 5 of you will have a part to play in recapturing the outlaw god. And I was like thinking, wait a minute. I was thinking it sounded familiar for a second, but maybe I'm being dumb. Hold on. Anyway, yeah, I mentioned that already. And then, like, Sam mentions this. She mentions the memory that she got with the feather from her ancestor. A memory in this one, a thought. The ravens don't really speak. They stare at you and let you stroke their plumage until the right feathers drop out. This one, the memory, it's ancestral from my distant forefather, Ahmad ibn Faldan ibn al-Abbas. Basically, the guy who traveled among the Vikings. So when I took the feather, I could see his journey like I was there. I learned a lot of things he never wrote about. Things he didn't think about, think would go over well in the court of the Caliph of Baghdad. And more. He also heard the legends about the ship Nalgthar and the place where it's docked. The Eastern Shores lies on the borders between Jotunheim and Nalfheim, the wildest, most remote part of either world. It's completely inaccessible, locked in ice except for one day of the year, midsummer. So that's what's going to happen. So the second feather, a plan to move forward to reach the Eastern Shores, will need to sail through the farthest branches of the world tree through the old Viking lands. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? I was like thinking, this sounds like Heroes of Olympus here. That's where giant magic is strongest. Again, this sounds very much like Heroes of Olympus. Where we'll find the sea passage to Nalgthar's docks. The old Viking lands, basically in Scandinavia. Yeah. We'll have to go by sea the way the Vikings came here. Just as you can only enter Alfheim through the air, we can only reach the wild borderlands of the Eastern Shores through salt water and ice. And then Sam made this promise, and I'm so sad. I promised Ymir, once we recapture Loki, once I am sure that Ragnarok has been averted, at least for the present, then I'm done. I'm retiring from the Valkyries. I'll devote myself to college, completing my pilot's training, and marriage, of course, when I'm 18, as we planned. And then Annabeth. Then I get to see Annabeth. Like, this part, the ending just made me so hyped. I'm gonna read this, and then I will give you my reaction to it. Annabeth was there before me, standing on the platform in jeans and sandals, a long sleeve purple shirt with the laurel wreath design and the letters SPQR, UNR. It's been crazy in New York. I thought communications were only down among demigods. I know. Before you guys give me shit, I know. I'm reading Trials of Apollo as soon as I'm done with this, so I'm going to understand what she means by this after I'm done with this one. I mean my kind, the Greek and Roman, but then I realized I hadn't heard from you either. I'm sorry that didn't dawn on me sooner. A god fell to earth as a human. Yes! See, so Trials of Apollo! You need to read Trials of Apollo, which I'm going to read next. These evil Roman emperors are back, causing trouble. Yeah, somehow these evil Romans found a way to mess up communications among demigods. Not just the usual magical kinds of talking, but also cell phones, Wi-Fi, you name it. I'm surprised your Raven made it to me. I would have come up to Boston to check up on you sooner, but I've had my hands full. But the end! This end right here has got me excited for book 3, because Annabeth smiled. I don't know the ocean very well, but my boyfriend does. I think it's time you met Percy. We're gonna get a crossover next book. I cannot wait for book 3, and I cannot wait to read Trials of Apollo, which I'm going to read as soon as I'm done with this video. But this book was a really good second book. Like, this book had me dying. I like that we got to learn about Hearth. I really like Alex. Alex is, because, again, something that Rick does is he likes to put diversity in them. And remember, we had a gay character in the Percy Jackson Heroes of Olympus series with Nico, where he was, in the closet. But I like that we have this out and proud, gender fluid character. But then again, Alex can't help it. So I really, really love having this character. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you guys excited to see Percy in this? Like, I really hope that next book, what I'm hoping for is we're going to see Leo. I kind of hope we get the old crew together. Like, Jason should be here because he is liaison between the two camps. So I feel like Jason should be there, even though I fucking hate Jason. But Leo better be there. I'm hoping Percy's going to be there. Well, Percy obviously is going to be there. Oh man, what other I kind of hope we get, oh my god, because of Trials of Apollo, and I'm gonna read the first 2 books. If we get Apollo there, oh man, if we get Apollo there, that would make so much sense, because Apollo has to redeem himself. Oh my god, so I cannot wait to I'm getting on Trials of Apollo right now. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion, there's a few ways you could do that. You could donate to the Nerdigans Inc. PayPal, Patreon, or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. All those links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on the Twits, aka Twitter. Follow my Twitch channel, friend me on PlayStation Network. All those are in the description box below as well. Until next time, Nerdigans, I'll be seeing you later.